Hi, in this class we'll be looking at how to multiply binary numbers. The multiplication of binary numbers is a skill that we already used to because it's very much similar to the multiplication of, the normal base 10s number system. And also we have to apply addition, in this case, but then I will I will go ahead and deep dive. Now, before we dive in, we need to put something into perspective. This will be very important. So, what do we have to put into perspective? We have to put in perspective that we have this code that we have to, put at the back of our mind, which is saying 0 times 0 is equals to 0. We know that 1 times 0 is equals to 0. We know that 0 times 1 is equals to 0. And then we know 1 times 1 is equals to 1. Now, this is very, very important. It's very pivotal in our calculation process. Now, if we want to multiply, we can go ahead and use this key to dive in. So the first example could be 1, 0, 1, 2 times 1, 1, 2. And so what does this mean? It means that when we do 1 times 1, we get 1, right? And when we basically do 1 times 0, which is basically something like this. So we get 0, right? And then when we do 1 times 1, we also get 1. And then we also do the same. So here we get 1, 0, 1. Now, this indentation is basically the same from the same thing that we do from our base 10. So we indent, based on the position of the the lower number. So basically, we then add, and in the process of adding, we put 1 plus 0, which is 1, 0 plus 1, which is 1, 1 plus 0, which is 1, 1 plus 0, which is 1. And then here you have 1, 1, 1 in basically 4 places. Now, we will take a much more complex, scenario, and we multiply it and see what it gives us. So in this complex scenario, we will have an example, 1, 1, 0, 1.112. And then we will multiply this by 1.112. So in this case, we will treat it, also like the first case, and then we will dive in. Let's see how it goes. So first, we have 1 times 1, which is giving us 1. And then we have another 1. And then we have another 1. And 0, then 1, 1. This is 2. So here we go to the next, case, and then we say 1. It's also giving us something similar like the first case because it's just basically copying the first number. And then we go to the next one, which is basically 1. Which is basically 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. And then here we basically add. Now, this is where it looks a bit complex, right? So, because then we will see some cases that maybe we haven't seen, previous courses, but then it's totally fine. So in this first case, we basically, to make it easier, we could just add zeros to these parts that are empty, so it makes it easier to add. And then you have 1, and so maybe here we just take away the base 2, and then we have this. And so we have 1 plus 0, which is giving us 1, right? And then we have 1 plus 1, which is 2, basically. And however, we can't write 2 because this is the maximum of the base. So we take the 2 and we minus it from the maximum, which is 2, and then we have 0, right? And then we have to, since we have, done this minus to get this answer, so we have to bring the 1 to the next place. And then we have 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, which is giving us 4. Now, this is very interesting because, we have 4. And so when we try to minus, I mean, basically 4 is like, hitting is above the base 2. So we have to minus 2 from it. But when we minus 2 from this, we notice that we get 2, which is not still possible. So we have to minus 2 twice. And so then we have 0. So we have 4 minus 4, which is basically minusing the base 2 twice. And then in this case, we have to write a 0. When we minus the 2, because we minus 4, we get 0. And then, because we have minus 2 twice, in this case, we have to bring 2 and not 1. And so we also do the same case. We see 2 plus 1, which is 4. And, very much like the first case, we have to bring a 0 down. And then we have to, also because we have to do 4, we have to... basically split the total twice by minusing 2 twice. So also here we have to bring 2. And then we also get a 4. And then also we get a case where we have 0. And then we also have to bring 2. So also we have a 4 again. And then we have to bring, a 0. And then we have to bring 2. And also we get a 4. So basically it's 2 plus 1 plus 1. So basically here, we notice that it's above, it's still above. And then we use the logic to, basically reduce it to be below 2. And we have to do it twice. And so here we get a 4, and then we have to take 0. And so we have to bring 2. And then we have 2 plus 1, which is basically 3, which is also still above 2. And then we have to minus 2 from it, which is 3 minus 2. And this gives us 1. And then we have to take a 1 to the side, and then we have 1. So, this is not complete, but this is very close to our answer. The only thing we have to take is, the decimal places. We have to note that we have 4 decimal places in our multiplication, which is basically 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the numbers that are behind the decimal numbers. So in this case, we also have to, have our answer, which is basically having 4 numbers. So this is 1. Do you have 1, 2, 3, 4? And then here, we just basically come here, and then, so we put a dot here. And so our final answer is basically 111,000.00012. And this is our final answer. So this is how we multiply binaries in mathematics. It's very, very interesting. It looks kind of interesting, I will say. So basically we can go on and move to the next one. Thank you.